I'm going to tell you the 4 important things about the pentatonic scale that you need to know. This video is for everyone from beginner to advanced because I'm going to quickly introduce the scale and then focus on the most important and least talked about ways of understanding how to use the scale tastefully. If you don't know what the pentatonic scale is, it's that first scale that we tend to learn on guitar. Penta, meaning 5, is a 5-note scale that takes away 2 notes from the standard 7-note major or minor scale that tend to sound dissonant. So we're left with 5 notes that sound pretty good on any chord in the key. Here's the first pattern that you would learn. This is the minor pentatonic pattern, and now the first thing you need to know is where the root note is. You likely know that the first note in this pattern is the root note, and that's how we know which key we're in. So that first note is A, so we know we're playing the A minor pentatonic scale. But you need to know where the other root notes are in this position to develop meaningful, logical phrases. A root note is like the emphasis at the end of a comment that you say. It lets the other person know you made your point. A phrase can feel incomplete and asking for more if it's not ending on the root note, like a question. Next, to get even more tasteful, we need to add some grace notes for style and soul. That takes us to this one extra note that many call the blues note. You may see this full pattern referred to as the blues scale, but this is actually quite wrong to think of this pattern as a scale. The most common way we hear blues phrasing is through the pentatonic scale, using this blue note as a grace note. A grace note is added as an embellishment and not an essential part of the harmony or melody. As you can probably tell, to land on this note and let it ring, it sounds pretty bad. But to glide past it sounds smooth and bluesy. You can get as creative as you want with how you approach the blues note, but always using it as a quick grace note is an important start to understanding common phrasing on the guitar in any genre. The biggest mistake that I ever learned about the pentatonic scale was this. The major pentatonic scale. This is not the major pentatonic scale. I mean, it is, but this pattern and the 3 other patterns are too if you know where to play each pattern. The thing about this pattern is, it's kind of lame. Sorry. Let me try to articulate my opinion with a higher regard. This pattern is not conducive to the elite guitar player's common phrasing. Basically, I'm saying when I learned guitar, I put this pattern in my head as major, and played that whenever I had a major song. Eventually, after years of learning guitar solos and studying the greats, I realized that most of the time, their major pentatonic licks are the same as their minor pentatonic licks, and this same pattern that we all started with is the one that they use. The only thing we need to know is what relative major and minor scales are. Basically, every major scale has a minor scale with the exact same notes. So this A minor pentatonic that we've been playing has the same notes as C major. So I could play an A minor scale over a C major progression, and it's actually the C major scale. Looking at the A minor pentatonic, I know it's the same pattern as C major, but the root notes are different. First, I need to know that my root note is at the pinky. Whichever major scale I want to find, I start with my pinky from this pattern. The chord progression dictates whether the scale sounds major or minor, but the trick is, our phrasing should emphasize that as well. We want to identify all the root notes in the pattern so we can inform our phrasing more intentionally. Before we get to the last tip, be sure to download the full pentatonic workout. This course includes PDF tabs and jam tracks with exercises to help you solidify these pentatonic perspectives and take your fretboard knowledge to the next level. The full pentatonic workout is available to all Patreon supporters, along with all of my other exclusive guitar courses and jam tracks. When I first learned my scales and tried soloing, it sounded pretty bad. Me just going up and down the scale. Technically the notes were in the right key, but nothing sounded musical. And being musical with the improvisation is a whole other topic, but how to use the scales smoothly is actually quite simple. Everything changed for me when I started seeing the pentatonic first and the full 7-note scale second. So I could play the full scale while seeing the pentatonic, but I could also play more interesting phrases when I think pentatonic and add in those 2 extra notes. Even the simple concept of sounding outside. Sure, that can mean crazy scale outside of the key, but it can also simply mean outside of the harmonic tone that you've set. If you're playing strictly pentatonic and then pepper in these extra notes in the scale, you're playing outside of the pentatonic and introducing a new harmony that will stand out to the listener. If you learned anything new from this video, please share it in the comments below and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more valuable bits of information that could help you become the baddest, nastiest guitar player you could be. I look forward to seeing y'all again. Until next time, keep jamming and stay nasty.